Morning, everybody. Hope everybody's well. Happy Friday. Those that are here live, those that are here any day that you're here, thanks so much for being here. What an honor to be together. I've been talking about this idea of being a constant learner, summer, expansion, being a person that's a growth-minded person. It's so important. It's so important when you hear and see people, you follow their lives, you find so often that growth, family, career, spiritually doesn't take place in an incremental linear way. It takes place dynamically, it takes place exponentially. The kid that's 5'1" in 10th grade may not be 5'1" in 12th grade. He grows a little. He sees all the time. 11th grade, he's 5'1". In 12th grade, he's 5'11". You're like, how's that possible? The answer is because that's how I grow. I don't know. I'm not in charge of my growth, but it doesn't happen like, inch by inch every single day. Now it works. Opportunities that come our way give us pathways of growth. I just had this with a CEO that I was talking to. Got a project that's going through a little bit of crisis, and I was trying to explain to him that this could be one of the great things that happens to his business. Sometimes businesses grow organically. People that are in roles shouldn't be in roles. People that you want to hire, you don't have reason for. People that should get bigger opportunities, they can't because of glass ceilings. And then you hit a crisis. And if you focus in on getting through this crisis, new people emerge, and people that are in current roles become bigger roles, and people that are in bigger roles really step down. And if you focus on it, you have an opportunity to grow, to learn in a way you didn't have 3-4 months ago. You didn't have, but for the crisis. And that's really the period of time that we're in right now. That's the prep for summer. We're in summer physically. Now, but we have to be in summer mentally. We have to be in a period of time of expansiveness, of where we see what's in front of us and fully invest ourselves in them. I was talking to my rabbi in Israel recently, Rabbi Levi. He was explaining to me things that I don't do well enough. It's always good to have that person in your life. And I was saying, I do this thing that he's telling me that I don't do well enough. He goes, no, I know you do it. Because when you do it, you're not fully invested in it. Your head is someplace else. You don't fully put every aspect of your life into the thing that you're doing. So you're doing it, but you're not fully doing it. So many times in life, when God throws us a challenge or a curveball, we're not fully invested in the educational value. We're not fully invested in what we can learn from it and what we need to learn to prepare ourselves for it, how we can grow from it. We don't appreciate it sometimes. And I'm not saying it's easy, but we don't appreciate it sometimes as an opportunity that can enable us to have dynamic growth in our lives. The world changes, and we don't see that change as being a pathway to something bigger than ourselves. It happens in industries all the time. The world changes. And some companies, they just put their heads down. I was on the phone a few years ago with a company whose industry is being disrupted by technology. They do this service that now a computer can do pretty quickly. And they're still, you need them for like people that don't know how to use computers. most people know how to do the thing that they do online. And the way usually the world works is that as new people are born, they learn computers. So this person's business is 20 years gone. And you'd think the conversation would be, how do I adapt? How do I change? How do I grow? How do I learn? And the entire conversation was, can you believe? Remember the good old days? This is ridiculous. How could these clients leave me? I'm trying to think, like, leave you. You know, you can do what you do online, computerized with like AI behind it. Like, you know that, right? I'm thinking, like, here's a person who's sitting in an industry for 25 years who could merge his knowledge, his company with whatever the latest technology is, who can figure out new pathways to provide service in that same industry, who can adapt and learn and change and grow. Summer is just packaged in challenge. And instead, it's that sense of, remember the good old days? I want to go backwards. It's someone else's fault. We all have this. We all have this in our lives. And here's why. I think one of the reasons why. Because we're scared. Because it's scary to change. Because it's unknown how much I have to know now in a new world. Because learning something new is hard and I'm exhausted. When I was younger, I had no choice. Now that I'm older and I know how hard it is to learn something, I can't start something new, even if it's the same thing but a little new. Because I've never done it before. And so I've convinced myself that I'm not good at it. And that's work until now. And if I'm just not good at it, I can not have something and I'll be okay. Because I feel stupid in front of others that do this already. And if I show up, it's going to be obvious that I know so little. It's too late. I haven't put any money away. I don't know how to invest. It's too late for me. If I step up into this situation, it's going to be so obvious that I'm not enough. There's a fear of the unknown. There's a fear of what's new. There's a fear of what they'll think. There's a fear of how hard is it going to be? And that fear stands in our way. Fear stands in our way. Because we have the power and we have the ability and we have all the potential wisdom that we need. Our brain works just fine. We want to lift more mental weight, your brain will handle it. It may be exhausting, but it'll rebound and get stronger. The neurons will fire. And maybe it's a little harder for you because you get a lot of information in there, but you'll get it. You'll figure it out. And if you don't, you'll get by enough. We'll learn the new thing. We'll create the new habit. We'll adapt. We'll become. We have all the potential, but it's the fear that gets in our way. It's that, what's going to be if I go down this road? And it's the great crossroads of life. Challenge being packaged, or I should say, opportunity being packaged in challenge. Our ability to get through it, and our fear that tells us don't even try. It's the story of our lives. It's the story of this period of time in the Jewish calendar, that's for sure. This period of time, especially this weekend, as we start to get closer and closer to the day of Tisha B'Av. This weekend, we start the month of Av. This story that pervades this period of time is the story of the Jewish people standing on the banks of Canaan, banks of Israel. And the opportunity to go into the promised land packaged in the challenge of fortified cities and giants, armies that the Jews didn't think that they can overcome. The Jews had all the talent they needed. They had God behind them. Able-bodied men and women were there, able to take on armies, able to fight, able to conquer. They're literally eating manna from heaven. They're living in miracles. We're not talking about like they just came in at Auschwitz and they just gotten like beat up. We're talking about they're living in miracles. All the potential they needed. The opportunity and the potential. With one thing in the middle. Obviously, there's just many interpretations of this. What we see from the book. One thing in the middle, and that is fear. We feel like grasshoppers, they say. So we must be grasshoppers. It's going to be so hard. What's going to be? The unknown. That, God tells us, is the root of destruction. That has been what we've been grappling with since that moment in the desert. That is what holds me and you back from a greater life. Period. Fear. What's going to be? I'm not enough. It's going to be so difficult. It's harder than I would have even thought. Don't even start. I'm going to look ridiculous. I'm too old. I have the wrong background. I wish I would have been from, known that, did this earlier. It's too late for me. This is the stuff. This is the stuff. This is the stuff that blocks the summer of our lives. Because every opportunity that we have to expand is going to be effortful. And every time you come into the unknown, there'll be fear. And every opportunity usually is packaged in challenge. And all that has to change is our mentality. I saw in that one of my favorite Jewish books, it's called the Nesiva Shalom. He quoted, I forgot which big rabbi, that said that, we have these days coming up are the 9 days. The 9 days are the days that are really the most intense before this cataclysmic moment. He said 9 days, 216 hours. Is that right? Hold on. Let's do this together. Yeah, 216. I did the math. 216 hours in the 9 days. In Hebrew, that is the numerical value of Aryeh, a lion. When you engage during this period of time, you have to look over to what fear can do, to how it can hold us back, to how it could separate us from our potential. You have to stare it in the eyes and be a lion. Be fearless. Go through it anyways. Study, learn, grow, try, adapt. Even if it's scary. Even if it's unknown. That's the game that we're all going through. And we have to just recognize it and call it out and at least be okay with it. And then inch forward and try and adapt. All right, we're going to talk about this a little earlier today. But we have what to discuss. We have definitely what to discuss. Think about it this weekend. Think about things in life that hold us back. How much we can know, how much we can do, how much we can become. And then just be real with what holds us back. What are we scared of? Before we solve it, let's at least identify it. Which fear is getting in my way? What am I scared of? Why can't I just adapt and change? Why can't I just learn and grow? What's getting in my way? And by just seeing it, we can begin to fight it. And once we fight it, win or lose. Remember, it's about growing. It's not about winning. That's why we spend so much time on results. As soon as you get results out of your head, you knock out one of the greatest impediments to growth. Don't matter. You make the call, you win, regardless of what they say. You want the results to be good, but you don't win when they speak. You win when you make the call. That's how we grow. Okay, have an amazing weekend. Shabbat shalom, everybody. And with God's help, I can't wait to see you again next week. Have a great weekend.